Hey guys, Zav here, and yes, I am playing Empire, and yes, these are Halberdiers. I know, right? Yeah, this is a pretty wild build for me. It is definitely a Dov build still. I mean, we've got some Pistoliers out in Vanguard. We're up against Red Legion's Bretonnia, and yeah, we still got a Steam Tank, Volkmar, and 2 Pistoliers, so it is a bit of a Dov build. But 4 Archers, we've got 5 Spearmen with shields up front, and 4 Halberdiers. Figured Halberdiers would be pretty good against Bretonnia. I haven't really used them that much, but potentially in a very wide army like this, with a lot of anti-large infantry, I figured, you know, we could just have enough to grind down whatever Bretonnian cav came. We've got supporting elements as well. Archers, of course, can provide a little bit of cheap counterfire. Pistoliers run around, potentially chase routing units. Rear charge, the Steam Tank is unbreakable, terror causing mass, and also hits like a truck at range. Volkmar the Grim is Volkmar the Grim. What else do I need to say about him? An absolute terror in the night. And yeah, we've also got a Light Wizard, Barona's Time Warp, Net of Amontok, and Foz Protection, as well as the Exorcism trait, which will give us map-wide immune to psychology whenever I cast a spell. There is only Lewin causing terror on the Bretonnian side. We've got plenty of peasants and a nice wide build, lots of archers as well, Companions of Cornell with more Questing Knights. Questing Knights definitely very strong in this matchup, 4 of them. And so yeah, I'm going to be shelling the most expensive target on the field, obviously, with my Steam Tank first, which is the Companions. But since Red Legion's so spread like this, I can kind of run some disruption hit and run attacks with my big chariots in the interim here, try and potentially draw him into some weird situations. I really don't have any counterpunch for when Lewin comes down to the ground. I'm really just going to have to grind his army away and basically try and avoid Volkmar getting killed. Volkmar is very tanky, but I'm going to take some free damage from Lewin here, but you can see already kind of breaking up the advance. The Pistoliers are getting absolutely roasted by archers, which is fine, but they've already kind of... I don't know. I'm not going to say they've done anything useful, but, you know, they're my Pistoliers. What did you expect from them? Besides me getting them horribly killed. But the Archers, at the very least, providing some nice counterfire, just sort of poking away whatever Bretonnian units come within the defensive position here. And, yeah, all the while this Steam Tank will be cross-firing kind of across the field here against the Companions, taking out model by model. It's not as efficient shooting as have as obviously like a great cannon because it won't hit as many models at the same time, but it certainly will do consistent damage over the course of the battle. And nice soulfire bombardment there catches some peasants. And again, any Bretonnian men-at-arms that try and get close to this defensive position, we have enough archer volume to take them out, but the Bretonnians are in range to start counterfiring with their long-range peasant arrows, and they are going to be superior to these cheap Empire archers. But yeah, not really a lot to do but attack this defensive formation here. So he's going to go straight in, Red Legion coming at these Questing Knights, probably trying to push through and get at that Steam Tank. But one tip for you guys when you're facing a defensive formation like this, you always want to try and find the corners and charge in on them. Banishment over here doesn't honestly make too solid a contact on these peasants, but does manage to sweep up these men-at-arms. But anyway, yeah, like if you were to come, Red Legion could come here and like attack right at this corner right here, or this corner on the other side. Now granted, I could still maneuver my halberds to try and brace for that charge, but as it is right now, the peasant arrow fire is absolutely melting my lines sort of piece by piece, one by one. But a Net of Amontok here, we're gonna try and get those Questing Knights with some of the spears. So far I haven't really been too liberal with my use of Winds of Magic. I think we got maybe 1 Barona's Time Warp earlier. No, I think it may be coming up still. But yeah, just kind of sitting back and letting the spearmen work down this Bretonnian army. It's very much going to be a grind fight, just the absolute infantry slogfest. But because the spearmen are the main ones grinding right now, and my halberdiers are all in reserve, they're not getting lit up by these peasant arrows. And the archers, you know, although it's not great for them to get killed, they are much cheaper than the halberdiers. So I'd rather them eat all of the peasant arrows than my more expensive armor-piercing infantry here, right? So that's fine by me. Volkmar, here comes, yeah, this is what I'm talking about. Barona's Time Warp here, juicing up those spearmen with shields, so they've got 44 melee attack, making solid contact against these peasants. Then we come in with a Steam Tank charge to proc a terror route. So the state troops trading absolutely super cost-effective against their Bretonnian counterparts here. Obviously, the professionalism and magic showing through there as Volkmar starts to roll through. So, yeah, bounce power still dead even after 5 minutes of slogging here. There's still a lot of Bretonnian archers left. We have managed to rout off most of their melee infantry, and this cav force is not doing too hot. But I do have a potential here, because Red Legion's keeping all 3 of his cav kind of together, trying to go after Volkmar and this steam tank here. We've created sort of a bit of a bait pocket, right? And here it comes. Overcast net of Ammontok. We're going to go ahead and trap all of these questing knights and then countercharge in here with these Halberdiers. Volkmar's also got his buffs active, right? So Grand Hammer of Sigmar didn't quite hit all of these Halberdiers, but like these ones. That Soulfire comes in as well. And this is going to be a bad situation for these questing knights. They're just taking damage from all sides here as Spearmen and Halberdiers rush in. Volkmar himself, we've got the steam tank as well, just murdering all of the effects, murdering my frame rates here. Lewin charges in. He's going to get a Sword of Couronne to try and rout off some of my troops. So some of the knights do manage to pull away there, and that banishment is going to end up mostly making friendly contact more than anything. But I'm going to pull my Halberdiers back, try and get them away from that banishment. It, oh man, just rolls over the remaining Pistoliers and absolutely finishes them off. Yeah, that's basically why you don't sign up for my Pistol Corps right there. Anyway, archers providing a little bit of counterfire here. All of this Bretonnian low leadership infantry, I mean, there are some questing knights here, but for the most part, we can keep pushing them away with this steam tank. The steam gun will continuously kind of fire in, and it can charge and keep proccing those terror routes, right? So we kind of pulled back the rest of my forces. A few spearmen, stage troop spearmen, kind of hung out to dry here. A little bit of a, I guess, a rearguard action as they hold the Bretonnians back as we reform the lines here. We've still got lots of healthy Halberdiers here, so I'm feeling pretty confident about my odds. Still got a handful of doomed Pistoliers. And, yeah, the steam tank, it's cannon. It is a self-enclosed cannon that's unbreakable and causes terror, and also has this steam turret on top. Yeah, it's going to start side-shotting in here through this formation, shooting at both these peasants, trying to hit some of the knights as well, just whatever we can get contact with really at this point, especially like side-shotting a cannon through these peasants. Oh man, it hits both units, does a ton of damage right there. That's really nice, and I'm actually going to kind of shift all of my forces over here and try and keep up the pressure on this force so I can shatter all of them, push them off the side of the battlefield here. I mean, some of them are already shattered, but there's still, what, 4 units that could potentially come back there, and especially the bowmen are a threat to my Halberdiers, so I really need to take care of them as much as possible. But that is going to sort of pull the Bretonnians into an engagement here. Halberdiers getting involved with these pitchfork peasants. But, you know, Volkmar's here, so that'll go a certain way. Meanwhile, the knights are charging in, and they do get a pretty decent charge here. Nope, actually not charging on those Halberdiers, just trying to outmaneuver them. And I do have a handful of archers left still, which is nice. Can kind of provide some counterpoke here as the Bretonnians maneuver around. But yeah, things are not looking great for Bretonnia at this point. We've basically managed to finish off this entire force. Not quite, but I do want to bring my steam tank back and potentially protect. Volkmar is getting pretty low, though, and here he gets caught by all of these questing knights. And Lewin is going to take a lot of damage, and he is at his healing cap. But again, a big Baroness Time Warp on these Halberdiers, and the Hammer of Sigmar stacking on top of that. They're up to 74 melee attack. These Halberdiers coming in here just absolutely wrecking shop on what remains of the questing knights. I mean, each of these attack animations is basically guaranteed to hit once you factor in the anti-large bonus. So yeah, this is a great use of Halberdiers, probably the best use of Halberdiers that I personally have had in one of my games. And yeah, they are carrying the game in the late game here. Volkmar is almost done, only about 250 hit points left. He is able to get a final terror route here, and it's pretty much just Lewin for Bretonnia. I did not chase all of these units off, so the peasant archers are coming back, but I mean, they're far enough away that they weren't really a threat at that point. And yeah, Volkmar overextending, but at this point, I'm not really worried about losing. Oh man, that was a hit on Lewin, though, from the steam tank. Good shot as he was diving down. Volkmar, you know, he'll get wounded. He'll take a few turns to recover, but that's fine. It's more important. Wow, Lewin standing up on Beaky in celebration there. Bro, you're still gonna lose, man. Look at your army. I mean, yeah, I would still probably celebrate the small victories, too. You gotta take them where you can. But Yeah. We're going to form up the Halberdier defensive position one more time, play off of the steam tank, and that'll be it. So, kind of fast forward a little bit through this late game maneuver here. You have some peasant archers. I'm using up the last of my volleys on my Empire archers here. And although Empire archers are absolutely outclassed by peasant bowmen, it's the fact that they're so cheap and they give you that skirmish option, and the fact that I can take, like, you know, 2 expensive terror-causing unbreakable chariots and still almost bring a full stack that's like a pretty decent army given the matchup. That's one thing I love about the Empire, is their flexibility. And Lore of Light also is fantastic. I would love Lore of Light on Bretonnia, personally, and I've talked about this in the past a little bit, but just giving Bretonnia Lore of Light, I feel like it would fit in thematically, and also it would help them quite a bit. Like, Barona's Time Warp and Nets are both super strong spells. Banishment is pretty good as well, just having, you know, a banishment that you can take in certain matchups. Pause Protection, obviously, but really the Exorcism would be amazing for Bretonnia, the map-wide immune to psychology. So it only lasts for a short amount of time, but like here, we're going to throw that in. I believe we threw a Pause Protection on the steam tank, but it did give momentary immune to psychology to all these Halberdiers as they kind of fight this final engagement against Lewin here. All that armor-piercing anti-large damage, and the mass of the steam tank helping to hold him in place. Oh, yeah. Getting punted around a little bit, but hey, that's how it goes. So, very well played to Red Legion. It was a super fun game, and I have to say, Steam Tank 201 kills, 3 XP chevrons was definitely a carry. The Halberdiers didn't end up getting that many kills at the end of the day, but just the few key engagements they did get, where I was able to use the magic to support them and get that damage needed on the important units. And then, yeah, the Spearmen did their job, sort of soaking the damage and taking the initial engagement in the front line. Some have even got some pretty good kill totals where that Barona's Time Warp came in. 69 kills there. Pretty nice. Pistoliers died horribly, but what do you expect from me, honestly? Yeah, that steam tank, I just can't get over how good the steam tank is. And in a build like this, my idea was, again, just provide a ton of infantry soak for Volkmar and the steam tank to drive over, and just kind of grind down at the end of the day. And anti-large AP I figured would be good. I'm quite happy with the Lore of Light as well. On Red Legion's side, a pretty strong build, honestly, against the Empire. And my only real critique, again, is potentially try and maybe attack the corners of the formation rather than going directly at the spears. But, you know, I kind of understand certain lighter infantry units you can actually break from the front charging through. And I almost wonder if you would have been in lance formation, because I was, you know, full-on spaghetti lined as much as possible, you know, as wide as possible in a thin formation. If he had used the lance formation, he could have actually punched through and, like, engaged the steam tank there and forced it to move and maybe done a bit more damage to the infantry. I don't really know. I don't know if that will reliably break the bracing bonus of something like spears, but yeah, it was definitely a fun one. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you do like this sort of content, be sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification button, so every time I upload a new video, you'll be notified. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you next time.